And welcome to the Leavey Center in Santa Clara, California. Excited to be here, bringing you the WCC This Week. It's presented by Geico. And tonight we've got the 13th ranked Gonzaga Bulldogs against the Broncos of Santa Clara. Hi everybody, I'm Dave Feldman along with Casey Jacobson. Welcome inside the Leavey Center. And speaking of Gonzaga, Casey, they may be grumpy because they lost on Thursday night to Santa Clara, 74-71, their first conference loss. Their first home loss, their first loss in quite some time.
Gonzaga and St. Mary's. I look forward to it every year. We get the matchup twice, and if we're lucky, 3 times that they play in the WCC tournament. And the latest matchup in this storied rivalry in the WCC certainly did not disappoint.
St. Mary's had been 2-12 in their last 14 against Gonzaga, who had won 18 straight WCC games on the road. That's a remarkable stat.
It is, and this game, though, was such a treat. Look, the 2 heavyweights swinging back and forth in the first half. I thought both teams had an early offensive rhythm. This is Emmett Nahr, second in the entire nation in assists to Trae Young in Oklahoma. But St. Mary's defensively, I thought the turning point came in the second half when they ratcheted up their defense and made Gonzaga work. They held the Zags to 38% in the second half there. There were big performers all night. This is Johnathan Williams III, their best player. But it was Jock Landale's night. Jock Landale, the center for St. Mary's, had 26 points and 12 rebounds, including a game-stealing layup with about 30 seconds to go.
You look at the last 7 meetings and St. Mary's, boy, what they did now and how they are a factor in this conference. And we talked about it, Casey. It's good for the conference when you have some parity at the top.
It is good. It's really competitive. I'm excited for their next matchup, and that is February 10th. I've already marked it on my calendar. It's circled in big red ink. February 10th.
I got it. I'm ready for that too. I'm sure Jock Landale is ready for that too. And by the way, and you mentioned it, but it's worth noting, the big Aussie makes 55% of his shots. And when he posts up, he's a big, strong guy. He put the arm bar on Johnathan Williams. He's tough to defend.
Well, he's like a mountain that wears a basketball uniform. You got to bring 2 guys. I thought one of the key components of the game the other night was Gonzaga chose to play him one-on-one. That's a difficult proposition. He's going to go off for 30, which he almost did.
Gonzaga 177 wins, only 15 losses at the Kennel. That's remarkable. So those 2 teams, everyone knew they would do well. What about the Pacific Tigers? They're 5-2 in the conference. They are coached by Damon Stoudemire. Mighty Mouse, awesome NBA career, awesome career at Arizona, a career with my partner with the Memphis Grizzlies. Yep. You were teammates. What a job he's doing.
Incredible. We were teammates in 2008 in Memphis when Pau Gasol was traded to the Lakers. I couldn't be happier for Damon Stoudemire and the job that he is doing with a young Tiger squad. And they struggled a little bit early on in the season in the non-conference. They lost 5 games in a row, but they've rebounded. They've won 4 of 5. They got a couple of new guys, too, that are surprising a lot of people.
So when you look at the Tigers and Jaleel Tripp, who's a big burly point guard, he's from Brooklyn. He plays and he does a great job. And also Roberto Gallinat, who's one of the best athletes on the team.
Oh, dude. Gallinat is their leading scorer. He is their best athlete. An explosive score as well. He had a career-high 24 points in Pacific's last game against Pepperdine. And then you mentioned Jaleel Tripp. He's a 6'5" kind of hybrid. He can play the point. He can play the forward. He's leading them in rebounds. He's from Brooklyn, and they need that. He brings that Brooklyn grit to Damon Stoudemire's Pacific Tiger team.
Your buddy only plays about 7 guys, and you look at the comparison, by the way, 5-2, 4-14 last season. They've already eclipsed their entire win total from a year ago. Their point totals are up, field goal percentage is up, turnover margin down. He's doing it, Casey, with only 7 guys. Oh, he's got new players.
Well, 7 guys is all you need sometimes when you're playing. They struggle in practice maybe to play 5-on-5, but in the games, 7 is all you need. Damon Stoudemire can go out and start recruiting. That's one of the biggest reasons why Pacific hired him. He can go into any living room in the country. The parents know who he is, and the kids, they listen to every word he says because he's been where they want to be.
He has street cred, no question about it. He practices sometimes with him. He runs the dummy offense. He has to.
Dummy dummy offense, meaning like slow motion, not full speed.
You said that, not me, about Damon Stoudemire.
I love you, Damon.
BYU has a tandem that you really love. Everyone talks about the tandem at St. Mary's.
Yeah.
How about the tandem at BYU?
You know, it's surprising to me because if you look at BYU, they lost Eric Mika from last year, one of the best players in WCC. They don't have Nick Emery, yet Yoli Childs and Elijah Bryant, they have filled that void. They're one of the best inside-out combos in the WCC. Bryant averages 18 points a game. Yoli Childs almost 18, 17.5 points a game. And BYU is coming on strong. They've won their last 3 games in a row while shooting 60% from the field. They have a tough game against San Diego today, and then they're going to have to go and play St. Mary's next week.
Are they a strong number 3 behind St. Mary's and Gonzaga?
They have been. I've actually been surprised that they've only made the NCAA tournament 1 time since joining the WCC. They are fantastic, but yes, they are the 3rd best team behind Gonzaga and St. Mary's.
Yoli Childs and Elijah Bryant, 2 WCC players to watch. We'll take a break. We'll go inside the studio when we continue. And later on, it's Gonzaga and Santa Clara. WCC This Week, presented by Geico, continues.
Welcome back to WCC This Week here in Los Angeles. I'm Chris McGee. We got a great lineup of games today, but before we get into all that, let's take a look at all the action that took place back on Thursday in the WCC. What a game here. St. Mary's at number 13, Gonzaga. Both teams come into this one 6-0 in conference play. NBA Hall of Famer John Stockton on hand for this one. This game was back and forth early. We'll pick it up late first half. Gonzaga up 4. Johnathan Williams driving. He finds Rui Hachimura cutting baseline, 40-34. Let's move ahead. Gales, they're getting some buckets. Jonathan Ford, Gales trail by 2, but Gonzaga would answer. Silas Melson draws the 2 defenders, dishes to Hachimura, who takes it strong to the rack. He had 15 in the first half on 7-9 shooting. It's 42-38 at the half. Gonzaga's up. Let's get to the second. St. Mary's down 7. Calvin Hermanson attacks. Gets the defenders in midair, hits the baby jumper. Moments later, Hermanson, he's going to block Johnathan Williams. The Gales are going the other way. How about this kid, Emmett Nahr? What a year he's having. Guy just feeds. Look at that, perfect pass. Tanner Krebs hits the 3. Gales 8 for 13 for 3 in this game. They just move the ball well. Jock Landale, what has he been? WCC Player of the Week twice? Score tied at 63. Next Zags possession. Jordan Ford drives, misses badly. Guess who's there? Landale. Gales go up 2 on a 9-0 run. Bulldogs would answer. Catch in the post by Williams. Attack. Nice pivot move. We're tied at 65. We're going nuts in the newsroom. Hermanson gets it on the wing. Penetrates. Get the floater to go. St. Mary's up 2 again. 9 ties, 22 lead changes. Gonzaga trying to tie this one up. Hachimura gets it down low. Uses a shoulder fake. Finishes with a soft touch. He had 23 and the game's tied at 70. Gales get it to their big man again, Landale. St. Mary's back up 2. Are you kidding me? Under 30 to go. Gales up 1. Tanner Krebs. He's going around the screen. He's going to throw it over the top. What a dish. St. Mary's up 3. Landale finished with 26 points, 12 rebounds, both game highs. The defender's fronting. And Landale gets position. No backside help. They get burned. Under 15 seconds to play. Gonzaga with the ball down 3. Josh Perkins. That misses everything. Perkins thinks it was tipped, but the ball goes back to St. Mary's. Under 6 to play. Gales up 3. Jordan Ford is immediately fouled. First visit to the line. Misses the free throw. Hachimura grabs the rebound. 5 seconds to go. Push it. shoot for tie, no good. St. Mary's escapes with the 74-71 victory over 13th ranked Gonzaga. That's their 13th straight win, second longest in the country. What a streak. We got Portland at San Diego. Terry Porter and Portland are 0-6 in WCC play thus far. They're looking for the first league victory tonight against the Toreros. Sloppy play by the Pilots. Isaiah Wright gets the steal, leading to a huge dunk on the fast break by Isaiah Pinero. Pinero had 14 in the first half. Look at him rocket. JoJo Walker. Love that name. Pilots up 6. About 4 minutes left in the half. Josh McSwiggan with the triple. Portland suddenly up double digits. Exciting sequence here at the end of the first. JoJo, another great move. That puts Portland up 11, 4 seconds left for the Toreros. Olin Carter III hits the buzzer-beating prayer. Pilots led by 8 at the break. That's big. Second half, San Diego trying to come back. Look at Pinero driving, finishing, acrobatic. Pilots' lead is down to 2. Under 8 minutes to go. Portland up 3. Tyler Williams got it. Game tied at 44. Next San Diego possessions. Beautiful this time of year. Good serve too. Pinero with a pump fake. Drive for 2. Got it. Career high 26. He's everywhere. 11 boards. Look at this. 6'9" Tahiro Diubate with the mismatch. Portland's back on top. Time running out for San Diego. Down 4 with under 20 seconds left. Carter III for 3 and he misses. Portland hangs on to win this one. 55-49. It's their first WCC victory. LMU at BYU. Dave Rose and BYU, winners of 12 of their last 14 games. They host the struggling LMU Lions. BYU's up 1. TJ Haas, he's still really good. Buries it. BYU up 4. BYU making a statement with their passing early. Look at the ball movement. Elijah Bryant, catch. Corner 3. BYU up 9. That's how you do it. They're looking to pull away. Yoli Childs, he's got the big dunk. BYU goes up a dozen. Crowd's loving it, they're raging. BYU running away with this one, up 18. Haas goes around the screen, whips it past to Peyton Dostrup, who dunks it home. All BYU off the turnover. Elijah Bryant runs the break, delivers a great pass to Haas for the layup. BYU gets the wire-to-wire victory, 82-67. That's a great photo right there. They're loving it. Pepperdine taking on Pacific. Pepperdine traveling to the Alex G. Spano Center. Pacific Tigers are looking to keep their 3-game win streak going. Pepperdine starts off with the early 10-point lead. Colby Ross sends it back over to Cooper for the layup. Cooper got the steal too. Waves up 18-6 later in the first. Waves still up 6. Cooper, guy's making everything he throws up, including this 3. Cooper's going to finish the first half with 14. Pacific now starting to close the gap. Miles Reynolds going to miss, but check out the man they call Oak. Nnamdi Okonkwo gets the rebound. He slams it. 3-point game. The Oak is tough. Once again, they send it into the big fella. This time for the alley-oop. 70-62. Roberto Gallinat. It's going to hit the 3. It's a 4-point play, Lou Williams style. He finished with 24 points. Less than 20 seconds left. Lafayette Dorsey. Watch this dunk. Pacific closes it out, 92-78. More WCC action. San Francisco trying to snap a 2-game skid. They're hosting Santa Clara. Nate Renfro. Dunk, foul, count it. What a play, so good I want to look at it again. Look at the feed too. He got it. Broncos get the ball with 4 seconds left in the first half. Matt Hauser, buzzer-beating jumper. Broncos went on a 7-0 run after the huge dunk to end the half. They're loving it. Second half, KJ Fagan driving into the teeth. He had 23 points. Broncos up 9. Look at that move. Under 6 to go. You know him and you love him. It's Sole Boom. The drive and the tough layup off the glass. Next Santa Clara possession. Big three. Extend the lead. Broncos hang on to win 65-62. 7 games into WCC play. Let's take a look at the standings. St. Mary's sits at the top of the perfect 7-0 conference record with a big win on the road in Spokane. Zags right behind them with 6-1 record in the WCC. Their next matchup is February 10th in Moraga. BYU and Pacific right behind them in the standings. Portland picked up their first conference win, leaving Pepperdine the only team without a WCC win. Coming up on WCC this week, Johnathan Williams III has been huge for the Zags this season, but what makes him stay motivated? Up next, you see the unlikely source that fuels J3. Welcome back to WCC This Week. Congrats to BYU's Yoli Childs on being named Conference Player of the Week. Childs averaged 21.5 points in wins against Santa Clara and Pepperdine while shooting 63% from the field. The sophomore is the second Cougar player to be recognized this season. What leads someone to greatness? Ask any person and they will probably give you a different answer. It could be from your parents. It could be from a famous person throughout history, from a book, from a poem, even from music. Needless to say, there are many ways to be motivated. Johnathan Williams III is no different. He leads the Gonzaga Bulldogs in both points and rebounds, and no doubt in Marvel comic book references. See, Williams is a huge fan of the Avengers and uses that to get an edge on his opponents. Here's Sammy O'Brien with the story.
This is Johnathan Williams III on the court. This is number 13 Gonzaga's leading scorer off the court.
Oh, Iron Man? I'm a big-time Iron Man guy, you know. Avengers is my thing, so.
The senior who turned into a leader virtually overnight does not take to the role naturally, but rather pulls guidance from his favorite superheroes.
He's all around. I just think he's a leader. And I just feel like he's always looking out for everybody in the team. He always making the big-time decisions. And I feel like he didn't want to be a leader, but he had to take on that role. And I feel like he does an incredible job with it. And then Avengers, and he on the superpowers, which is the thing, but he's still able to lead those guys with incredible powers.
And after a deep run in the tournament last year, coming up 1 win shy of winning the national championship, the Zags lost a number of key players. This time, J3 strapped on the cape.
I think he probably took a leadership role when we went to our retreat in the summer. I think he took the bull by the horn, so to speak, and got our guys more actively, more involved. And I think he came out of his personality. You know, he's quiet, he's reserved, but he understands too he has to be vocal in a lot of instances that he doesn't really feel comfortable with. He came out of his comfort zone and really showed, you know, what it was going to take, you know, to be the leader.
He's definitely have to work at it. Yeah, like I say, he's quiet. But I think he's done a good job by leading by example, for sure. You know, even though you're quiet, doesn't mean you're not a leader.
Every superhero possesses their own leadership skills. Williams is no different.
I just want to lead by example, and I think that's a great leader. A leader that shows that he's putting in the work, always on time, always there for people when you need them, never letting people down. When somebody's in need, always being there, whether it's on the basketball court, in the classroom, or just like this personal stuff, and it's already been there for people.
It comes time where a guy says, hey, you know, I think I'm ready for this. And some guys do it naturally, some have to, you know, they have to be invested in doing it, and he's definitely invested here at Gonzaga, and he gives it every day in practice.
And like virtually every superhero, J3 has a secret identity.
You know, off the court, he's a stay out of the way, quiet, laugh here and there, but doesn't want to pick any fights, just goes with the flow. Chill, I guess is the word.
Once he's on the court, he just turns to a different beast.
Doing spin moves, dunking on people.
It's weird just seeing him
screaming on the floor, going crazy.
I'm like, That's not J3. No way.
So given all this, which superhero is J3 most like?
Probably the Hulk. Because seriously, like Bruce Banner, just quiet, timid, shy, doesn't talk too much. But as soon as like things heat up, the Hulk comes out, and that's him during the game.
I mean, I feel like all of them. I mean, they have their true identity walking around, you know, but they all have this vigilante effect about them that they turn to somebody who the world doesn't know. I think that's J3 on the court.
But if you ask Johnathan Williams III, he would say Thor.
His power comes from inside. He always thought his power came from his hammer. And that relates to me because, you know, you always got to be encouraged by yourself. You always got to like, believe in yourself. And in that movie, he started like, to think that everything came from his hammer, but instead it actually came from the inside. He had it all along. And so just being able to always believe in yourself.
Maybe it's been inside him all along. For WCC This Week, I'm Sammy O'Brien.
Thanks, Sammy. Great job. Let's take a look at the matchups for today. We got a lot of huge games tonight. No breaks here. First game of the day, Zags taking on Santa Clara in our game of the week, which is coming up next. After that, we got San Diego heading to Provo to take on the Cougs. If that wasn't enough WCC action for you, then the 7 p.m. slot is sure to make your head spin. Pilots taking on the Lions, St. Mary's at Pacific, and Pepperdine taking on San Francisco. What a great way to kick off your Saturday night. All right, that'll do it from here. Thanks for watching, everybody. So long from our studios. We'll send it back to Dave Feldman and Casey Jacobson at the Leavey Center after the break.
We are back at the Leavey Center for 13th ranked Gonzaga taking on the Santa Clara Broncos. Santa Clara beat USF 65-62. St. Mary's beat Gonzaga 74-71. You see the tail of the tape. Their last meeting was not much of a match, 101-52, December 30th in favor of Gonzaga. X factors, Casey, how about Johnathan Williams?
Yeah, normally I don't choose the best player on the team as my X factor, but he affects the game in so many ways that I feel like I had no choice. He's averaging 25 points in their last 2 road games. And for Santa Clara, Henry Caruso, he's a graduate transfer from Princeton. He's their second leading scorer in the backcourt, and he gets the second chance at these Gonzaga Bulldogs. They're going to need more from him tonight.
All right, we thank you for joining us once again for the WCC This Week. Leave it right here. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Gonzaga and Santa Clara coming up next. WCC Game of the Week.